Welcome back to the Peak Performance Guitars Beginner Guitar Series. What we're going to do over the next few lessons is we're going to learn 30 chords. I know that sounds like a lot, but here's the good news. You learn these 30 chords and you're going to be able to play 99% of all the songs you ever want to play. It really is that simple. Just these 30 chords, we use them over and over again in thousands and thousands of songs. And the way that happens is, number one, it covers 6 different keys. And then number 2 is the capo. We put the capo on different frets and they become different keys as well. So this is gonna be fairly fast paced, but you can take your time. You don't have to do it, you don't have to do one lesson a day. You can do one lesson a week. It'll probably take that long for you to learn these chords when I'm showing you new ones. But take your time, learn each lesson thoroughly, and you're going to enjoy the results because you're going to be able to play 99% of all the songs you ever want to play. So the first 5 chords we're going to learn, this may be review. It's going to be D, C, G, E minor, and A minor. If it's a review, go ahead and skip over to the next lesson. That's not a problem. For those of you who haven't learned these, here's the way it's going to start. D, we're going to start with D. It's a very simple chord, and it starts with the 4th string is played open. So look ma, no hands. That's open. We're playing the string all by itself, and we're not pressing any fingers down on any frets. That's called playing it open. All right. The next string is the 3rd string. We're going to use our first finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then we're going to use our 3rd finger, and it's going to go on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So let's play all 3 of those together. The 4th string open, the 2nd string with the 1st finger on the 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger on the 2nd string on the 3rd fret. Lastly, we're going to use our 2nd finger here on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. So 4th string open, 3rd string 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd finger 2nd string 3rd fret, 2nd finger on the 1st string on the 2nd fret. You play all 4 strings together and you get a D major chord. And strings 5 and 6 we don't play at all. You'll see some people with bigger hands, they will take their thumb here and they'll bend it over so those don't play. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to get your fingers as close to the back of the frets as possible, like we covered before, to get the cleanest, prettiest sound. So that's the D chord. Next, we're going to learn the C chord. We create the C chord by first our 3rd finger on the 5th string on the 3rd fret. So the first dot for most guitars. 3rd finger, 5th string, 3rd fret. 2nd finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. Then we play the 3rd string open. So 5th string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret. 4th string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret. 3rd string open. Next, we're going to use our 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And then finally, the high E string, the 1st string, is open again. So play all 5 of those strings together. It's going to sound like this. That's the C major chord. Very simple, very easy, very versatile chord. You're going to use it in thousands and thousands of songs. So D and C. Now we're going to learn the G chord. We're going to play the G chord starting with our 2nd finger on the 6th string on the 3rd fret. So again, the first dot right there. Then our first finger is going on the 5th string on the 2nd fret. That's a B note, so we're going to play B and then G. And then the fourth string is played open in the G chord. So is the 3rd string, and so is the 2nd string. So that makes it pretty easy. Finally, we're going to use our 3rd finger on the 1st string on the 3rd fret. So again, on the 1st dot, and it sounds like that. That's the single note, but all 6 of them together makes the G chord. Sounds pretty. Now, the big challenge here most people face is they don't want to, these 2 knuckles, they have trouble bending them, or they at least have trouble bending this knuckle for some reason. And what happens is then this finger lays across the 5th fret, the 5th string. Excuse me. What happens when you have trouble with this most of the time is the 2nd finger will lay across the 5th string and mute it so it won't play. Right? And the way we fix that is we take our thumb and we bring it this way on the neck. And did you see that? Your fingers automatically stand up when you do that. And when you do that, your fingers stand up and you get to have a clear, pretty sound on all 6 strings. So that's an important tip. If the 5th string isn't playing, if it's deadening on you, it's most likely because your 2nd finger is touching the 5th string. Bring your thumb this way, your fingers will stand up and you'll be fine. And it won't be but a couple weeks before you won't really have to do that anymore and your fingers will just automatically stand up. Okay? So that's the G chord. So we've learned D, C, and G. Now we're going to learn the 2 minor chords that I talked about. First is the E minor chord, and the great thing about this is it's really simple. The low E string, the 6th string, is played open. Next we're going to use our 2nd finger on the 5th string on the 2nd fret. Then we're going to use our 3rd finger on the 4th string on the 2nd fret. So both those fingers are on the same fret. And then strings 3, 2, and 1 are all played open. So this is what it sounds like when you're playing all 6 strings together. It's a very pretty, very powerful chord filled with a lot of emotion. It's excellent. When you're dealing with music, that's a good thing. Okay? That's the E minor chord. Finally, we are going to learn the A minor chord. And the way we're going to do that, to keep it simple, is you're just going to take both of these fingers, where they were on the E minor, and you're just going to move each one up 1 string. So they were on the 2nd fret on strings 5 and 4, and now we're just going to move them up so they're on the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 3, respectively. Okay? You're just moving it, just like that. We're not going to play the low E string, the 6th string at all. That's not going to play. We're just going to play string 5 is open. And then you've got your fingers, you got finger 2 on string 4 on the 2nd fret. And then your 3rd finger is on string 3 on the 2nd fret. Those 3. And then we're going to put our 1st finger on the 2nd string on the 1st fret, just like we did with the C chord. Okay? You hear that? You can already hear the minor, the minor part of the chord. And then finally, the high E string is open. So we play all 5 together. And there we go. And as always, it's important to keep that C in your hand, like we talked about in an earlier lesson. If you don't remember that lesson, go back and review that. For all these chords, that C in your hand is really important, so that you can form these chords correctly and have all the strings playing for you. So in this lesson we learned D, we learned C, we learned G, E minor, and A minor. There you go. Now that's the first 5 of the 30 chords. And once you learn all 30 of these chords, you'll be able to play 99% of all the songs you're ever going to want to play. So you are what? You're 1/6 of the way there. Get those down, get them so that your hand knows them. You can play them, you can change between them fluidly, easily, and stay strumming in time. That's the first lesson in this series on the 30 chords you absolutely need to know to play 99% of all the songs you ever want to play. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the very next episode or the very next lesson. Until then, have fun and make music.